know it doesn't seem like it, but I broke the truck again. Let's get into it. Get too old for this. Oh my god. This guy sucks. Come on. Come on. Thing you're doing that. What the hell was I doing? That's what I think. Had sunglasses on.
I feel like I'm gonna hurl. So I can't stop stuffing my face with dry.
Alright, so what happened like 2 weeks ago, I was finishing up installing my new headers and getting the exhaust squared away. So I got the new headers in and I went for a test drive, and I don't know how far I made it, but I was basically going home. I was using my drive home from work as a test drive because I threw these in at work, but I was driving home and the steering just quit working on me. I could still steer some, but there was like, it was like there was like a clicking, like, you know, something skipping gears or something like that. So my only thoughts on that was either that U-joint there is skipping on the teeth on the column, or something in the steering rack is just skipping teeth. And what I've had happen before, because I've been having a lot of problems with the whole steering, you know, the whole hydraulic system leaking, and once it got low, that U-joint up there would actually start skipping inside. It's a spline up here, and it would start skipping, which is really sketchy. So I'm probably going to wind up eventually replacing that whole column and probably just this U-joint anyways, just to be safe, because that probably is. But it's like I completely lost the power steering, even though, well, it's not full anymore. I pulled over and I checked, and this was full, and I've got brand new lines on it now, because that was another problem I've been dealing with, is just trying to get this whole thing to seal up. And then the rack started leaking, but this was full and I had no power steering at all. So I'm thinking either the pump just gave up or the steering rack did, because it's not working and I'm over it. So I'm going away from the hydraulic system. I'll show you what I got going. So this here is an electric power steering rack from a 2015 or newer Mustang. There's no hydraulics in this, no hoses to run, nothing to leak. The only thing that could fail is either something with the electrical, or there's a belt in here. But I'm over the hydraulic thing, because I've had that pump that's on the engine right now when it was in my old Ranger. Those that don't know, this engine was in a Ranger that I had before this truck. And then that rack is, I don't know how old. I think I remember reading that those Crown Victoria racks need like something like 800 PSI. That power steering pump is actually off of a 95 Mustang, and I have not been able to find how much pressure that thing's putting out. So either that thing has been putting out too much pressure, that rack is just too old. I can't find answers on it. I'm tired of it. We're gonna try an electric rack, which this doesn't bolt right in, but there's two different companies that make a whole kit to put this in to a Crown Vic swap. Well, you can put it in a regular Crown Vic, or you can put it in a Crown Vic swap in an F100. Obviously, F100 swap. Still waiting for the kit to get here, but I can go ahead and get the old hydraulic rack ripped out. So that's what we're gonna get to right now. All right, hopefully you guys will be able to see what I'm doing. I love having a big enough engine bay to sit in. Burn my hand on that freaking exhaust because it is hot. I'm getting too old for this crap. But watch me be wrong, and this whole thing fall apart. Oh, and you're doing the same crap. Like the thread, like the splines are okay. Seems like the splines are okay. Nope, not quite. Not quite there yet. Ooh, that's under some tension. This may get dangerous. Okay. Get a rich on that in a minute. I love this impact right here. Easy peasy. Nuts come off. Rack should just come right on out. That was like the easiest rack removal I've ever had to do. 3H drive impact, but whatever. This was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, and whew, that's getting hot. And yeah, woo! Don't try this at home. Yep, that disc is definitely done. I think this is where it starts. There we go. That worked. Okay, well, hopefully that's not foggy. But it's like 2 or 3 days later now. I've been dodging a bunch of rain. God dang it, is it fogging up again already? Yeah, it's so humid out right now because it's been raining, which means I've been dodging all that trying to work on the truck. And finally today I just said, screw it. If it rains, it rains. If I get wet, I get wet. Either I'm gonna be wet from laying on wet ground, or I'm gonna be wet from sweating my butt off. Either way, I'm getting wet, so screw it. We're gonna get back to work. And also, parts came. So, I already showed you guys the new Mustang rack. The parts, the kit that I got is from this company, Range Industries. And it's just a bracket that'll allow you to bolt this rack to the Crown Vic crossmember, because Crown Vic crossmember, the bolts run that direction. This one obviously runs up and down, so got to change that. Comes with a few bolts, comes with new bolts to bolt to that. These bolts go through there. You'll see as I go to assemble this. So I'm gonna put you guys on my head and we're gonna get to it. Hopefully you guys can see what the heck I'm doing. Pretty simple. Bolts go in here. Alright, I'm going to shut you guys off until I have these bolts all tightened up. Alright, so they got a PDF file for their instructions if you want to check them out. Just on, I think it's like rangeindustries.com. But they say to take out the sway bar, get this in, but I think you can manage without taking it out, especially the way that I'm doing it without the tie rods on yet, which yeah, it goes right in. I don't see why they say to take the sway bar out. Watch me regret that in about 2 seconds. Yeah, so far this is going together a heck of a lot easier than I thought it was going to. There we go. Hold on. I think those are 18 and 22 on the top there. Probably be a lot easier with a ratchet and a socket. Actually, that might be 21. Okay, 18 and 21. But yeah, those bolts that bolted to the cross member, that's like a 5/8 head. And then the bolt going through here and the nut, it's an 18 for the head, 21 for the bolt. Yeah, I know, real exciting stuff. Tightening bolts. Just make sure we got this one good and tight. Yeah, that's definitely tight. Let's see, can I get you? You're like right there, come on. Hopefully you guys aren't fogging up like my glasses are. Okay. Let's see. Yep. I'll call that tight enough. All right. So from here, it's just tie rods and boots on, some wiring, and we're good to go. But getting the tie rods in without taking off the tie rod ends, that's going to be a little bit of a trick, but I got an idea for it. Oh, and I need to get... But yeah, something else. This comes, you got to order this separately, but this comes from the same company. It's all the connectors for the steering rack. So you got the big one, that's your main power wires. That's like a 6-gauge wire. And then you just need a smaller switched 12-bolt source for this. This is just a trigger wire to tell it when to come on. I don't remember what size that is, but you know, it's just a small trigger wire. No big deal. All right, so this will probably be helpful for anyone else that's actually doing this swap too. So these tie rod ends, I already got my boot on there and the jam nut and everything. These are a special tie rod. They're basically a Mustang tie rod end, or inner tie rod, I mean, but they machine the outer end so that you can put the stock Crown Vic outer tie rod on. But it's a 2015 or newer Mustang inner tie rod. And this section here is a 42 millimeter. I just got this off of Amazon. It was like 30-40 bucks, I think, if I remember right. And yeah, it's like a perfect fit on that. All right, there for a moment. So these are, I think they called them a stopper in the instructions. It looks like they just slip over, you know, the hex nut part of this thing. Even though I think it's more than just a hex, but it's like a nut. You get the idea. I don't know if you necessarily absolutely have to run those, but it says to, so I'm going to. Will you thread in already? Yeah, it's going. It's going. Hopefully you guys can see down here because it looks dark as hell to me. Oh. Alright. Let's get you on. And hopefully I can fit my big ass ratchet on this thing. Oh yeah, easy peasy. Look at how easy that was. Just gotta pull this out. Get out of there. Then boot, all that. Let's see. I'm hoping you should be able to turn, dang it. So freaking close. Watch this not work. Either that or I strip the dang outer tie rod or something. Come on. Come on. Make me look like a badass. That might be. Or it might not be. Did that just catch? I don't think it did. Or maybe it did. There we go. It's catching. Yeah, that's going in. Now hopefully the other side does this too. Oh, and the mosquitoes are starting to come out. I can feel them. Yeah, everyone likes to like pretend that Florida is just sunshine and beaches and like paradise. That's a lie. Florida is a swamp. It is rain and it is a swamp. Do not believe the false advertisement. It's a good 75% swamp. Kind of like my butt right now. I'm gonna go a bit more just to make sure it's in there good before I start turning stuff. Ooh, that's a little sketchy. My ramp is bulging right there. That is no bueno. No bueno nachos. Okay, I'm gonna check something real quick. I want to see where the steering wheel's at. So I'm probably gonna get this way off. Yeah, it's gonna be way the heck off. Is this thing still recording? Yep, it's still recording. And it's probably going to start raining any minute. Any minute. So let's go ahead and get you on. Let's thread you in. Yeah, if you're not used to being outside, do not come to Florida. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's got a ways to go. Oh, come on. Don't do that to me. Do not do that to me. Check that out. Oh, come on. Work with me here. Okay, so I think from here I'm gonna have to go flip the switch and hopefully the battery's not dead. Please don't be dead, please don't be dead, please don't be dead. And then let's... Why? You should be able to turn, dang it. yeah, I should be able to get that to work. Okay, this is gonna be boring. It's just a bunch of turning wrenches. All right, so I got everything tightened up. Let's see if this will actually work. That doesn't feel like power steering yet. That still doesn't feel like power steering. Okay, well, made it to the gas station with the truck, but the rack, well, the electric part of the rack is not working. It's basically like driving with manual steering right now. Yeah. And I double checked the wiring. I got the wiring right, but the electric part's not working. And are you going or not, dude? Whoa! Okay, I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is I got the power steering to work, and the long story short of that is what I was using for a 12 volt. Well, remember when I said it needed a main power, a main ground, and then a 12 volt trigger to tell it when to turn on and off? So the 12 volt source that I was using for that was bad. Just had to replace a wire, got that working, and you know, power steering started working perfectly. It works really great, actually. And I was planning on doing a bunch more driving and like trying to get videos of showing that working well, but that leads into the bad news. So as I was fiddling with it, I was test driving the truck and, you know, just enjoying it because I spent the last year building this truck, and then the last 2 months trying to fix it after stuff started breaking, and basically I broke the truck again. I got into some heavy traffic and it overheated bad. Like 200, it got up to like 250 degrees. Water got into the oil. You know, it got the whole milkshake, you know, slushy going on there. And then rod knock started happening. So this engine's toast, which I was not planning for. So in the last few months, I've had my headers crack, had to replace those. That was like $500 right there that I was not planning on spending already. I had the hydraulic rack fail that I had on this before. That was, I probably wound up spending like $1,000. I can't believe I spent that much putting in the electric rack. And then right after all that happened, engine's toast. Engine overheated, and that's wrecked. And I've already got another engine go in. It's just I've been waiting to make more videos until I had that more ready, because that was more money I did not have. So I had to just wait for paychecks, save up some more money, and then start gathering parts and whatnot. So that'll probably be the next video, start getting the new, showing you guys the new engine and starting to get that ready. But yeah, I'm sure this video is already too damn long, so let's get some video of the steering working. Engine off. I'm pulling that as much as I can. It's not turning. So let's key on, give it a second. There we go. It takes a second for it to turn the rack on, but yeah, now it'll turn. Key back off. It's still on for a second, and then it shuts off. And now, like I am, you know what, let's key off. Can't turn worth a dang. Key back on. And there we go. Now we're turning. Now it'll turn. The good thing about all this is, though, it showed me that it was the old hydraulic rack that failed, so nothing in the steering shaft, because I thought some of the splines on the shaft might have been started stripping and skipping teeth, but so not that. 2, it shows me that I've driven it without power to the rack, without the rack on, and while the truck is rolling, at least I can still turn it. So if something electrical goes wrong, it'll just be like driving a truck with manual steering, or I guess more accurately, a truck with power steering that had a power steering pump failure, which is kind of what I had going on before. But yeah, I can still steer it even if the electrical part fails. And then 3, it shows me, I know now that, hey, I can turn the rack on without the engine running, which is really helpful for if I have to push this thing around. So yeah, I've spent way too much on this. I'm gonna end the video here, and yeah, next time hopefully I'll be showing you guys the engine. Start, please. Woo. Yep. That's fucked. And I am 100% responsible for that.